Is there anyone who has quit fast food? How did you do it? Story 1. Did a blood test found out I am pre-diabetic and my cholesterol at the roof, so I wanted to do something good to myself. Been training and eating healthier for the past 4.5 months and lost 10 kilograms because of it. Still pushing through. I ate almost one fast food meal a month when I feel like it. And that's it. Sometimes I even forget. Story 2. I started by telling myself I could only go if I'm with someone else, and they are the ones that suggest it. After doing that for a bit, I upped it, and when I did go, I forced myself to only get something I thought I wouldn't like, so the association was no longer satisfaction or pleasant. Obviously, we're human, and everyone liked a fast food fry here and there, but the craving has gone down almost entirely. Story 3. People legitimately think this is bull, but if you can do a week without eating food and drinking soda and drinks filled with sugar, it goes a long way. That said, that's how I did. I realized how much better I felt, and it led me to make other decisions that were better for my overall health. Story 4. I no longer saw it as worth it when I can make a healthier, cheaper, and tastier meal at home in less time than it would take me to go get fast food. Get good at cooking. It's so worth it, and it easily impresses others when you can make a delicious meal from scratch. Story 5. I stopped it for a long time. Long means a few months. I still don't eat fast food a lot, but when I ate it, I always felt remorse when it was finished. I wished I had my money back. I started eating more and more at home, cooking for myself. Story 6. Make her food herself. But I cook bad. So that's it. You give up your entire life of culinary because you cook bad at what age? Are you 77? My godchild, the world is ahead of you. Go and buy cooking supplies. Change your culinary world for the better. No one ever hates a good cook. Good for dating as well. Story 7. I sort of just stopped when I got in my 30s. The burgers and fries started tasting like battery acid. When I found out that McDonald's fries don't go bad, I was like, yeah, I'm all set, and never looked back. I felt the same way about soda. I haven't had soda in 5 years. Never really looked back. Story 8. Just stop going and mentally accept you are going or door dashing for convenience and comfort, not need. But it is super expensive and, of course, unhealthy. But more practical now, expensive. Baby step into cooking for yourself. Go to Costco or Trader Joe's and lean into the pre-made meals. Then the convenience is still there. They are better for you and overall cheaper. Build up your how-to-cook ability over time. Start watching shows and YouTubers and the like and get interested in food. Million of the out there, but I prefer the people that actually educate instead of just showing food off. Alton Brown, J. Kenji Lopez Alt, all the America's Test Kitchen people, some of the older babish stuff and stuff of that nature. The Instagrammers are cool and all, but it is hard to learn in a 30-second video. Story 9. Just stop going. Seriously, it's that easy. If you need to eat, go to a grocery store and hit the deli. It's homemade and no chemicals that just make you more hungry in a few hours. I go in and get some meats and cheese for $7, and it's a nice lunch that doesn't weigh you down. Story 10. I decided one day that I should drink less soda. Fast food meals always come with soda, so I started by just drinking half and then pouring the rest out. Eventually, I started asking for fast food meals without any drink. Then one day I said, I'm just going to give up the food too. I feel healthier. I look better. Haven't looked back. Story 11. I just remind myself how bad I feel after eating it, then embellish that memory with gory details, like how Whoppers always make me throw up. That's actually true. Or how the shakes give me the squirts, also true. But you get the idea. It's negative reinforcement in a way. Story 12. Alternative mom and pop options are cheaper, fresher, and taste better. It's like fast food chains cater to uncultured, lazy customers, and they probably already know that in their research data. A small exploration effort would yield vastly better options. Waiting a little bit is a minor inconvenience. Story 13. As I got older, I developed a more sophisticated sense of taste. When you get used to real food, the thought of eating fast food regularly is just disgusting. Maybe once or twice a year I'll go to In-N-Out for a double-double. But even then, it's usually because someone is visiting from out of state. Story 14. Change my habits around the fast food, I guess. Prioritize better sleep to cut down on cortisol. Drank more water to feel fuller. Started taking a different way home that didn't go past Chick-fil-A. Also, running seemed to make my body crave healthier food. Not super intense running, just jogging for 30 minutes a day. Story 15. I've spent the majority of my adult life having fast food for every meal. I've tried countless times to stop with no luck. What has worked for me this time is meal prep. I bought containers and make a week's worth of a couple meals and spread them through those containers. I made sure to meal prep recipes I like. They're not focused on finding nutrition-dense food with low calories, but they're a lot better than greasy fried food. I still need to add more fruits and veggies to my diet, but changing to cooking at home does wonders on the inflammation in my body. Part of getting over fast food is the low priority I feel for cooking after work. If I have a meal ready, I can microwave in a couple minutes that also tastes good. I'm less likely to stop on the way home. Most of the fast food I always crave doesn't sound appetizing to me. When I do eat it now, I feel gross after. Story 16, I would order from Uber Eats and DoorDash a lot. Maybe twice a week, sometimes 3 times. With that amount of orders, there were quite obviously a decent amount of mess-ups, missing items, wrong address deliveries. After a few refunds, they stopped refunding me when they mess up, no matter how big or small the mess up. So I had to stop ordering from them. I can't just be throwing money away, and the stuff is expensive it is. Now, I'm trying to get fit and dieting and exercising quite a bit, so anything like hat is off the table as I'm really giving it a solid go to take off that spare tire from COVID. So even if I'm offered something delicious, I have to turn it down. It's not easy, I can tell you that, but only at first. It gets way easier, and then you start to get a sense of pride when you say no. Story 17. I learned to cook and did the groceries for my home now. Realizing how expensive things are in fast food and how much cheaper and healthier I could make it myself helped my broke ass finally not find that kind of food appealing. The only thing it's got is how fast, duh lol, and convenient it is, but there's some quick-to-prep food if you already have the ingredients. Story 18. I started cooking more and I love my cooking. I try different things so I don't get bored. During COVID shutdowns, I stopped dining out in non-fast food restaurants too. I will occasionally eat in a restaurant now. But once you go a number of years without fast food and then you try it, fast food either is now worse or my cooking has really improved. Story 19. You decide you really want to save money, keep snacks in your car, make sure you bring meals, work, school. If you drink, smoke weed, it would help to stop doing that. And also don't make it an all or nothing thing. Maybe let yourself do it 1-2x a week. Eventually you may stop wanting to go even once a week. Something I like about bringing my own food is I can control exactly how it tastes/portions. And that keeps me enjoying my own food. Edit. I want to remind people that sometimes you think you just have poor impulse control, when you also may genuinely be hungry and can't tell. Even if you're fat, your body doesn't care. But you're focused on your bad cravings and think you are just craving for no reason. If you eat something in your car and wait 5-10 minutes, your cravings will likely be much less intense, and you can actually make logical decisions. Story 20 I did. A decade ago, I was living in a very small town, 5,500 people living in town, and applied for a factory job. Now, a decade later, I'm leaving the automotive field and pursuing manufacturing again because it was better in every way. Honestly, I just searched for manufacturing jobs and machine operator jobs and just kept applying until I got hired. I also called to follow up on my applications, but that was 10 years ago and a lot has changed. Nowadays, I stopped calling to follow up on applications because managers cussed me out for wasting their time. Story 21, I just slowly stopped going. First, it was McDonald's because they kept putting too much ketchup on the burger and I don't like ketchup. Then it was Carl's because the cashier kept joking about stealing money from me as a tip to himself. Then it was too out of the way to go somewhere else. Then it was because it cost the same to go sit down somewhere and be waited on and tip as it does to get fast food. And then it was, I like knowing what's in my food, so if I do eat out, it's at health food restaurants or I just cook at home. It's been so long since I've had McDonald's that I had it for the first time about 6 months ago and was immediately throwing up. It tasted like I was eating a block of salt the whole time. No hate to people who do consume fast food. I still go to an In-N-Out about twice a year, just not the overly processed places. Story 22. When I go grocery shopping, I like to calculate the average cost for how many meals I can get out of my trip. Like if I spent $100 and that feeds me for 5 days, 3 meals a day, that's around $6.66 per meal, which is excellent value. It's a helpful way to budget and keep track of spending, and you can adjust the parameters as needed for your lifestyle. It feels like a game, like a challenge to hit that low number again. Once you get into the habit and know what your budgeted grocery meals cost, it often doesn't feel worth it to order food. Fast food nowadays is not faster, not cheaper, not tastier, not worth it. Story 23 I did for years. It's only this year that I've had a couple of McDonald's hamburgers for the first time in maybe 10 years. I feel disgusting afterwards. It all comes down to prioritizing health and money. Sure, it's easier to stop and get something, but when I would add up how much money I spent on takeout at the end of the month, it was ridiculous. So since I'm not very good at making food at home and putting it in a lunch bag, I would just bring the stuff with me and make a sandwich or two at work. Throw in some fruit, water, maybe some crackers or a cookie, and it's cheaper and healthier than takeout. Challenge yourself to do it for a week. Once you've done that, it gets much easier. Story 24. Read Food Inc. Sugar, salt, fat, fast food nation, in any order. It's eye-opening and gets you to think about where your food comes from, how it's processed, engineered to make your brain process taste that signals your primal urges. It's garbage designed to make money. Proteins are treated so they're easy to chew, you chew faster, and the part of your brain that signals you're full can't compete. Story 25. When I was working out, it felt like such a slap in my own face to destroy 2K calories of crap. So I didn't eat it. After I broke the habit, I didn't crave it anymore. I will still go to a sandwich shop if I have to get something on the run. I know that isn't really better, but it keeps me from opening the door to other burger joints. Story 26. Same as losing weight, I suppose. I worked out really hard and got hungry. Then I'd force myself to have a homemade meal after working out to help retrain my body on what to crave after working out. Every week or so, I added one more homemade meal until I could go a few days without fast food. Here's the kicker and the most important part. If you can work yourself up to a week or two without eating it, the next time you eat fast food, you'll feel incredibly sick afterwards, and the desire to not feel like trash will break you of your need to eat fast food. Asterisk note asterisk also works for soda. Story 27. Move to a place that doesn't have fast food. I spend 6 months a year in a town that is either an hour-long flight, a 6-hour ferry ride, or a 4-hour international round-trip drive to get a McNugget. The other 6 months a year is easy after the quarter-pounder withdrawals stopped. Story 28. Can't eat it if you don't buy it. It's how I cut out sodas and plenty of other foods that are bad for you. Once you lose that habit and start a healthier one and do that for about 3-4 months, it's much easier since you won't be craving food anymore. You'll be craving something else you'll hopefully be eating. Edit. Fast foods are chemically addicting, so I understand that it's going to be hard to break it. Your will to be healthy just has to outweigh, batum tuss, your want for quick and easy food. Story 29. I looked at my bank account after working for a few months and wasn't netting much of anything. Then I looked at how much I was spending on lunches and decided I was done doing that. This was back in 2010. Even with those prices, it adds up really fast. So much worse with today's prices. I work to make money, not spend money. Fast food was at odds with that philosophy. Also, it's not even good. It's so damn mediocre. Story 30. I haven't had fast food for a few years, and I think about it occasionally, but it just makes me feel like crap, and I know I'll regret it once it's over. You have to train yourself to enjoy and crave healthy food. It's taken me a few years, but you will feel so much better once you get there. Story 31. I got exposed to higher quality food when my now wife came into my life. With her, I started eating in more restaurants. And after a few years of this, I lost much of my taste for fast food because the restaurant food was just so much better. Then the cost of fast food went up so much that it wasn't really much cheaper than eating at the local Thai or Mexican place. So I can go to Thai and get an entree with rice that feeds me 2 meals for $17 or fast food for $12 that feeds me once and isn't as tasty. Story 32. I was managing a McDonald's at the time. Shift manager, not GM. I gave my 2-week notice and my GM went, "Come on, you got to give us a month so we can get your replacement trained." My response was, "I make $12.50 an hour. I'm honestly just giving you 2 weeks because we're friends." And then I finished my 2 weeks and continued what I'd been doing for 2 years up to that point, drinking/smoking heavily, and the GM. Edit. Just understood the post, but I'm not deleting the story because I'll probably never tell it again. Not morbid. I just quit that job almost 10 years ago and there's never been a reason to bring it up. Story 33. I was poor and my food budget was $25 a week in 2012. I learned to cook cheap food that was better than fast food. I would cook my week's meals on Sunday. The only thing I wouldn't do was fry food. It's wasteful and makes the house smell. I'll get some fried chicken every once in a while, but it's only about 4 or 5 times a year. If you're having trouble quitting, try working at a fast food restaurant. That'll cure you. Story 34, it's just really processed. I quit eating it as a first, second, and third option, but it's there on road trips, in a pinch moments, etc. Also, I'm mostly talking about low-tier fast food. I live on the West Coast, so I still incorporate regular occasional In-N-Out, Chipotle, etc. in the same fresh fast food. But what's most important is that 90% of the time you're eating healthier and the 10% you can indulge, even if it's MCDs. Story 35. I started small, quit soda first, then slowly started eating less fast foods. That is, quit McDonald's, then BK, then Panda, etc. Like others said, the less you eat it, the less you crave it. Also, learning how to cook the things you would eat at those places helps a lot. I can cook a bacon cheeseburger the way I want it, bigger and tastier, for half the price at home than I would get at McDonald's, in the comfort of my own home without having to spend gas or energy going out to get it, except for doing grocery shopping. Story 36. Easily. Non-fast food has vastly more flavor and quality. Definitely explore more cultures' food. Indians are by far the best vegan-vegetarian options that won't make you miss meat, for example. Authentic Asian food in general, not cheap takeout Chinese like Spots, is vastly more healthy and flavorful overall IMO. The same with Mexican food IMO. Mushrooms are incredible and can replace meat without noticing or even being better. Look at Awesome King Oyster BBQ recipes. You'll be amazed. Biggest thing is cooking for yourself and using quality ingredients. Get some slow cooker recipes so you can throw everything in at once, then set it and forget it. Once you do this for a while, gotta stick to it. When you try to go back from fast food, you'll probably be disgusted or like it significantly less than you remember. Story 37. While I have yet to quit fast food pizza or burgers, I've managed to cut a lot of other stuff by making it at home. If I want Chinese food, then it's never Panda or P.F. Chang's. I make what I want, and it's more food than even the cheapest options at these places. If I want a sub, hoagie, or other type of deli sandwich, I use my mandolin to slice vegetables thin and even make my own deli roast beef. But no matter what, the key for me was learning how to make sauces from scratch. This gives me the flexibility for whatever I want to eat, and you can easily find copycat recipes online for most chains. Plus, I can make it healthier since I have full control over the ingredients. Even now, I'm beginning to move away from the copycats altogether in favor of more authentic dishes or straight-up experimentation while cooking. Leveling up my cooking skills has been really liberating to the point that I love cooking for friends and family more than going out to eat with them. Story 38. This might not be feasible, but moving/working in a different location where fast food just isn't as readily available helped a ton. I haven't quit fast food entirely, but I only get it maybe 2-4 times a month. When I worked in a location that had Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, Jimmy John's, Panda Express, Carl's Jr., Taco Bell, etc. nearby, it was so tempting. Now there's really nothing easy to get to on my way to and from work, so it helps with not wanting to go out of my way. Story 39. I quit it a few years ago for health reasons. Cholesterol was creeping up, needed to cut salt, etc. About a year later, I just wanted the basic MCD burger and figured, what the heck, it's not much. Took a bite and thought, this isn't good. Took enough and then threw it away. The salt levels seemed nuts, and the taste just wasn't what I remembered. I really think if you just give yourself a month, because you can do it for a month, and then try it, you will be fine with giving it up. Or maybe another month and another. Story 40. Went 33 days with no fast food. Bought French fries to eat at home in the air fryer. About 10 days in, I went through some wild cravings but wanted to see how long I could go. Once I got past the cravings, it was easy. Only Cave BC. I was traveling for work for 4 days and makes options very limited. Since I broke the fast, I think I've gone twice and tried to get healthier options. The dollar savings is incredible, plus how you feel. Story 41. I had weight loss surgery, so for weeks I couldn't eat anything solid, and when I could eat, it was only a few bites. Turned out that beef was something I could barely tolerate after, and bread not at all, so no more burgers. Deep-fried foods like French fries and chicken nuggets weren't allowed, and carbonated drinks caused excruciating pain. 6 years later, I occasionally eat a couple chicken nuggets cooked in an air fryer. Still can't eat beef or bread. Had my gallbladder out a year after weight loss surgery, so can't tolerate really greasy food. I can drink a sip or two of diet soda. It's just pointless for me to go to a fast food restaurant. I rarely go to or eat at all, maybe once or twice a month. I lost 220 pounds. Story 42. Honestly, it tastes like now. 15 years ago, it was great. I don't know WTF they did, but McDonald's chicken nuggets are always disgusting now. Like flat, thin, and cardboardy. Never hot. Also, they got rid of chicken selects too, which were incredible like 15 years ago. And the fries always taste like now too. So for me, it's just the quality of the stuff went so downhill that it became unappealing. The prices going up at the same time didn't help either. Wendy's nuggets are still great though. Story 43. I can't remember the last time I had it, but if I'm some sort of inebriated, I won't turn down Taco Bell. I switched from a 12-hour weekend night shift, where I mostly ate fast food because I was exhausted and didn't have time to cook/meal prep, to a normal MF 8-hour schedule. That helped a lot. And I also just got better at cooking and making quick, healthy-ish meals. Also, the amount of money I save cooking instead of ordering food is a lot. Story 44. I worked at a few and never felt like eating there after that. Most of the others gradually declined in quality, and I stopped going when I was disappointed more often than not. Any that remained decided to start charging ridiculous prices that I couldn't justify spending for fast food. I went to Chipotle for a quesadilla a few years ago and they wanted $10. That's obscene for a tortilla and a very small amount of cheese. Remember when those had enough cheese it oozed out? Yeah, even that wouldn't have been worth $10. Story 45. Meal prep. I prefer to spend an entire day making dozens of meals in advance and then freezing them. Combination of convenience and health. I couldn't imagine spending $15 plus for a single meal that isn't high-quality nutrition when I spend like $4 per meal for good quality whole food. I think I maybe got a chopped leaf salad like 8 months ago, and it was like $28 because I wanted the right amount of protein, carbs, and add-ons to make it somewhat similar to a meal I'd usually like to eat. Story 46. A lot of it has to do with inflation. It's really hard to justify 2 meals, and you look at the receipt, and it says $30–40, and it has next to zero nutritional value. Plus, the removal of all inflammation throughout your body will thank you while you quit fast food. I will continue to minimize fast food. Story 47. Quitting fast food is tough. I lost around 80 pounds a few years ago, and this was my secret. I have this theory called food prison. If you put something in a cage where you are not allowed to have it, human nature will make you want it even more. I always feel like a dirty rolling up to the Taco Bell drive-thru, and it gets in my head. Instead of letting that happen, go to Taco Bell with self-control. Get 1 to 2 items at the absolute most, and then get the craving out. Never stop going for your goals. Story 48. Just focus more on cooking at home, expanding your horizons, and making stuff you never thought you would make. I know you probably don't have a lot of time like the rest of us, but if you put some planning into it, it can be an incredible experience that takes you out of the whole fast food world without you even noticing it. As a dad who works from home with 2 kids since COVID, I've had a ton of fun the past few years learning dish after dish. Think of it as a limitless menu. Just go online and find something. One of my favorites recently is peanut butter chicken. Hoisin sauce, PB, soy, sesame oil, flour it up and fry it. Story 49. I just started taking my fitness journey more seriously. Also started cooking more. When I crave fast food, I opt for one of those healthy, ready-made meals in grocery stores. I do enjoy fast food maybe once every 6 months. But one thing that helped a lot as well is documenting or making mental notes of how you feel after consuming fast food compared to a homemade meal. After KFC, I feel disgusting, lethargic, tummy is mess. After a homemade meal, I feel clear-headed, able to focus and continue whatever I'm doing and don't feel bloated. A lot of people can't tell the difference because their baseline is a diet full of fast food. Story 50. I quit about a year ago to lose weight. I used the money that I normally spent at fast food restaurants to buy healthy food. I bought a George Foreman grill and use it daily. The only thing I really miss is cheeseburgers, but I can make them at home healthier. Story 51. I inadvertently quit fast food when I became a vegetarian. I know it's not the right choice for everyone, and this isn't a preach session. It just so happens that the vast majority of fast food isn't vegetarian vegan friendly, so I stopped trying. The savings of my wallet, cholesterol, and overall health have been extraordinary. Story 52. No fast food for nearly 5 months now. After the first month, it's really easy. You don't really crave it, though seeing someone eat it or smelling it is still tough. I also switched to another healthy restaurant that replicate a lot of popular menu items, but to be as healthy as possible. I eat there once or twice a month when I feel like a zinger or a shawarma. Story 53. I was thinking about this the other day because I haven't had any fast food like McDonald's for over 3 months. How? Because our cooking at home is so much faster and better, that's it. Fast food has literally zero value after you've practiced cooking enough that you're good enough to make any fast food you could buy, but that tastes better. I look at any fast food commercial, the food in it, and I get hungry for something we make at home. Fast food commercials have literally become commercials motivating us to eat food we cook at home, having the opposite effect of what the companies who paid for us to watch them intended. Story 54. I know this makes an ass out of you and me, but I'm going to assume that you do fast food because you don't want to cook for yourself. Well, good news for you. When I had no time to cook or the energy to cook. This is an outright lie. There are plenty of quick meals one can make, but even I will admit that takes energy to do. I went out a lot to decompress and grab a beer after work. This is where I quit my fast food BS. Fast food didn't give me my 20 minutes to myself. I also made the realization that smash burgers is how I remember Big Macs tasted like when I was a child. And real burgers is much healthier than then all carbs. No nutrition fast food in your local McDonald's at around the same price. You also get more, you do get more fat, but you get more protein and nutrients. It's just not burgers. Happy hour often gives you more food than fast food at similar prices as well. Story 55. It started for me when I learned to cook and meal prep. The during COVID working remotely kind of forced the issue. Now I come home for lunch, very short commute when in the office, and we eat dinner home all but 1, 2 times a week. Weight is down, the quality of food is up, and the boost to the budget helps too. Story 56. The food is engineered for you to crave it. It's not just fast food. Most prepared food that just needs heating up, even at restaurant, is the same. Just like quitting any addiction, you wean off and find something else. But honestly, the biggest problem I find with such food is not the food, but us humans' inability to understand how food works before and after it enters your stomach. The portion sizes are just too big here in US. Even if you follow the recommended 2,000 calories, most forget to count the calories for side dishes, soda, and dessert. Another thing that makes it worse in the US is the whole rushing attitude. On one side, folks have a busy life and would often consider eating a task to be finished during the work week. And on the other side, you have tipped. Employees encouraged to get the table filled with next set of guests to get more tips. People need time to eat and wait for their body to react. Food absorbs stomach liquid and gets bigger. Give it time. Eat like Italians. Then on the opposite side, you have food here that are really calorie dense, either to market it as more food for your money or to reduce shipping costs. So you end up with a belly after months of this cycle. Everything is grown made here to increase shelf life and endure transportation. Body impact in true American fashion is left at the consumer. Story 57. Mostly. There's a local burger joint that's amazing, and it's a good treat once in a while, and sometimes while on the road, it's just what there is, so you eat it or you don't eat. It started with major quality loss and continuing downward, so our local location sucked, and I thought what they were serving was subpar at best. Then it went up, and everything else went up, so my money was pulled in more directions, and more money for subpar food and service was not a thing I was going to do, so less again. The number of disappointing, expensive meals really sucked the fun out of it. Without it, I really lost my taste for it. And honestly, when I was eating it more, it was habit and lack of desire to cook or put forth any effort, not because I wanted it that much. So now when I have it once in a while, or that specific local place that's always been good, it tastes like a good treat, not just mediocre fuel. Story 58. I can either pay €5 for a noodle box, plastic burger with small fries in my region, or I could also make a nice pasta dish with 5 portions for €5. To be fair, I never really got into fast food, but if you just make pasta with a sauce or potatoes with grilled cheese for a few times and go back to eating at MC's, you're probably cured, as long as you don't have too many fond childhood associations with fast food chains, I suppose. Story 59. Realizing that it's not fast nor really food. Round trip going to McDonald's that's 0.6 miles away driving would be tilde 15-20 minutes. I'd still have to clean up and throw a lot of trash away, plus most of my attention would be spent looking at the road. Then my partner can't do whatever they want if I take them with me. Compare that to just making burgers and fries at home. If I air fry fries, that's 2 minutes of attention. And the burgers are like 8-10 minutes of attention. Cleanup is just throwing stuff in the dishwasher, which honestly, the dishes in the sink needed to get done anyways, so that's basically free. And McDonald's is like the cheapest/most time-efficient fast food. Other restaurants expect more of your time wasted. Story 60. I did successfully for about 5 years in my mid-20s. Made food at home and brought lunches and snacks everywhere. Pizza was the only fast food I would get during that time. It all went to when I got married, a house, and kids. Couple relapses here and there, and now it's open season for it. It's more so the wife and kids that want it. I try to sway it best I can with cooking good meals at home, but damn, fast food is so convenient. Story 61. Not gonna lie, any more LOL. But a really big part of it was lying to myself and my friends and family about not liking fast food. Everyone in my life thought that I hated chips and fast food for like 10 years. Even though I have since admitted to myself and my loved ones that I do in fact like potato chips and fast food, I still don't really crave or eat it unless it's offered to me. Story 62. I found out I have celiac disease, and eating gluten was causing me to have debilitating symptoms that would last for at least a week and was causing me to miss a lot of work. I realized that even trace amounts of gluten would make me sick for days. I had been trying unsuccessfully for a few years to give up fast food, but kept giving in to temptation. When I realized that fast food, which contains gluten or at least traces of it, was contributing to it, I finally had enough motivation to completely cut out fast food. Story 63. First thing I did was started eating a few meals at home. I made sure what I ate was something that sounded good to me at the moment. Nothing fancy unless I felt like cooking. Could have been a PB&J, a salad, a steak and baked potato. Marinate shrimp for 15 mins, then throw it in a skillet or on the grill, anything. Then I started noticing what was quick and easy to put together and made sure I had stuff on hand for a few of those meals throughout the week. Not all week, just a few days. Also, a couple hours before dinner, I'd start really asking myself, what do I want to eat for dinner? Turns out eating at home almost always appealed to me more. And I noticed after laying off a few days that when I ate fast food, I didn't feel that great. And it's expensive. The only time I eat fast food now is if I'm not at home. I almost always have something I can put together that I like more than fast food, even if it's just scrambled eggs and a tortilla. Edit to add, frozen and canned veggies were and still are my friends. Story 64. It's only been 36 days, but I just stopped ordering. I'm not able to drive anymore. I'm partially blind, so it's not like I can just run out to get something. So I was ordering through delivery services. I work from home, so that also eliminates the whole, I'll just go through the drive-thru on the way home. Once that initial craving is gone, and you get used to the whole, making every single meal, it gets easier. I did the same thing when I gave up all soda like 18 years ago. I just stopped ordering it or purchasing it. Story 65. I cook instead, but I also grew up on my mom's cooking. We had a fair amount of fast food since it was our after-school snack, but eating less processed foods growing up means I can't really stomach a lot of it as an adult too. It makes me feel gross. I have it once every few months if I'm craving it or truly have nothing at home. Once your body gets used to not eating crap, it's difficult to tolerate crap again. It's not even cheap or affordable anymore. Story 66. My husband hates fast food. He just hates anything greasy. It's not his palate. So I ended up never eating it unless I was alone, on occasion. And then I found as I ate it less and less, I didn't really crave it anymore. Also, I became a really good cook, and fast food can't compete with a home-cooked meal. Story 67. In the past 20 years, I've only eaten fast food a very small handful of times. Learning to cook and learning what food could taste like kind of spoiled me, and now most fast food is not tasty to me because I know I could do better. The rare times I do have fast food is on the occasional spontaneous lunch date with my wife to In-N-Out. If you get your fries extra well done, not only are they better, but it forces them to make fresh fries for you, and their burger protein style is pretty good. Another thing was getting in shape and getting active in the gym and learning what it took to burn off those calories. Usually I'm eating it going, this isn't worth the effort to burn off the calories. But that is just personally. The biggest thing I've learned is that you still have to live and enjoy life. Don't deprive yourself of things you love. Find that balance where you still get the things you love and reach your goals, whether they are health, fitness, weight loss, weight gain, career, whatever. Story 68. For the same price, you can buy pre-made, somewhat more healthy food at grocery stores. I think even 2 weeks of that will make you feel so much better you won't want to go back to fast food. I stopped eating in college due to increasing prices and weight gain, and just have no interest in eating fast food at all unless I have no other choice. Story 69. First, increase the pain. Any type of purchase I'm trying to cut down on, my first rule always is that I have to pay cash for it. Then set logistical limits like no delivery or drive-through. If you want it, you have to go in and order and sit there and contemplate your choice in public. Once it's less convenient and you're more aware of how much it actually costs, give yourself a hassle-free alternative. Now, if I want something like that, I grab a slice of pizza from a local place. I'm lucky to live in an area where there are a lot of those because Domino's would be too close to the fast food line for me, but whatever makes sense for you. Also, fun fact, if you kick the habit and don't eat any fast food for a few years, the first time you indulge again will come with physical consequences so uncomfortable you will not be tempted again. Story 70. The biggest motive for me was the increase in cost when in California at least, minimum wage for FF workers went into effect. I was a huge Taco Bell junkie, at least twice a week. I saw prices of my usual order go up by 25% from 1 week to the next. Socioeconomic engineering aside, it just wasn't worth it to me anymore. From that, I decided that all fast food isn't healthy, and those big companies don't have my interests at heart, so I quit them all. Since April of last year, I've only been to a small chain local burrito joint and In-N-Out. Everything else has been cut out of my diet/wallet. Story 71. I haven't had any fast food for 6 years. Learn to make your top 4 or 5 favorite fast foods at home. It will be much cheaper, tastier, less caloric, and better quality. Keep ingredients on hand to make 5 10-minute meals. Egg sandwiches, French toast, frozen ravioli with leftover spaghetti sauce or marinara, BBQ beef or pork sandwiches from leftover roast, French dip using a 5.99 sale ribeye. My favorites, bean and cheese burritos. Use fresh, uncooked flour tortillas, doctored up refried beans, shredded cheddar, and lots of Taco Bell mild sauce, available in bottles from most chain grocery stores. Pizza crust of choice, homemade or jar pizza sauce. Try BBQ sauce or garlic sauce too. Favorite toppings, Stonefire naan and mini naans are the perfect size for personal pizzas. Cook them in the air fryer at 400 for 5 minutes, perfection. Watch YouTube tutorials and master a few pasta dishes. Cacio e pepe, marinara sauce from scratch, carbonara, and puttanesca are all easy and spectacular. Gyros marinate boneless chicken thighs in lemon juice and olive oil with garlic cloves and oregano. Cook in a skillet, Homemade tzatziki sauce is easy. Use fresh pita or naan. Fried rice is easy to make. Use frozen lightly breaded chicken breast chunks, Costco, and homemade sauce to make orange chicken sweet and sour, General Tso's, etc. Story 72. Research different cleanses and elimination diets. I did a 3-day cleanse followed by a 6-week elimination diet back in 2018. The 3-day cleanse killed my sugar cravings completely. I couldn't believe it because normally I crave sweets and potatoes all the time. The elimination diet was important because it allowed my stomach microbiomes to get healthier, which further supported the loss of sugar cravings. What I started craving instead was leafy greens. Total mind blower. Anyways, all that helped me stay away from fast food and sugar, etc. And I was doing great for a year. Then the holidays rolled around and I ate some chocolates, then baked goods, and it was pretty much cravings back on after that. Story 73 first. I watched Super Size Me. It took years to eat any fast food again. When I did, it was so unrewarding. We know now that the filmmaker was dishonest as to his own health, and it skewed the results, but it worked for me at the time. Fast food is almost as expensive as regular sit-down restaurants these days. My kids love Taco Bell, and I explained they could eat at a Mexican restaurant with good ingredients for almost the same price. It used to be a cheap answer, but it doesn't seem that way anymore. I also started paying attention to how I felt after I ate it. If I craved it, I thought about later. Usually that dissuaded me. Honestly, the ingredients for most fast food is the worst stuff you can put in your body. Highly processed trans fats, cheapest quality meat available. You could think about supporting locally owned restaurants instead of some huge corporate chain that doesn't help the local economy. I think if you incentivize the reward aspect, it makes it easier. Plus, you find unique food and become more a part of a community by supporting a small business. Story 74. I haven't completely quit, but I've reduced it a lot by increasing my budget a little and doing nice restaurants out, but with less frequency, and buying some staples for the house that are healthy that I can eat in a pinch. I also started working from home, which helps reduce locational temptations on the daily. Here's the real thing. The human palate is a moving target. If you are consistent with the change, 90% not fast food is what I shoot for as a minimum, the taste will change and you'll discover a whole new world of flavors that blow your mind. Also, you gotta cook. Food is a life requirement, so knowing how to prepare it for your needs is pretty important, Mo. If you like a type of food, learn how to cook it. Then you can control the portion size to your needs and tweak it over time to be the favorite thing. I also consider how long it takes to drive to get something versus how long it'll take me to cook and clean. Thinking that way is efficient and incentivizes saving time and money to make something you'll enjoy more. Once that all clicked, I felt my need to focus on food all the time melt away. Because to start, it's like a full-time hobby. Now I had a strategy to follow. And if I have a craving or someone else wants fast food, I'll be within my 90% and I don't have to be perfect. Story 75. I fully quit fast food and soda pop in 1999. I have not eaten at a McDonald's, Taco Bell, Burger King, Arby's, etc. since. It wasn't difficult. I just decided one day it wasn't worth it and stopped going. Soda, I just drink water instead everywhere. It saves a ton of money as an added benefit. That said, fast food is hard to define. I still will eat a sub from Jimmy John's, Chipotle, Qdoba, Panera Bread, and even an occasional chicken sandwich from Wendy's, or eat at some other slightly healthier fast food place. I enjoy a good higher quality pizza too. It's not that often, maybe 1 to 3 times a month. It's just cheaper to eat at home, especially now with food prices and a family. Still, you don't have time, just get tired, crave something, etc. Learn to cook and/or marry someone that does. Once you stop eating it, any cravings you might have will go away. If you add regular workouts and get in good shape, it will be disgusting to you, and you'll crave entirely different foods. I can't deal with low-quality foods physically, neither anything with tons of sugar. It makes me feel like crap if I eat it, and my body knows that. I can pretty much do without any desserts, except a good ice cream and chocolate. I'll never give those up. Story 76. Serious answer. I thought about it. Honestly, think about the product you're paying for and what it has to offer you. I'm not saying be a purist and health nut and fear chemicals, blah, blah, blah. Quite the opposite, actually. I buy nicotine cartridges. They aren't crazy expensive, but they do have a cost. However, I find great rewarding feedback from that purchase, while simultaneously being aware of the unhealthy aspects of it. I thought about this in regard to fast food, and I realized, oh man, I can make stuff just as good and bad as this. And then I started cooking cheap, simple, but unbelievably good meals. Convenience? That's a completely different factor in this discussion.